Hello and welcome to Distributed Systems and Blockchain in the News. My name is Thomas Bocek, and this week we first follow up with FTX. But first, the last episode of In the News broke all records. I had 100 views with only 20 students in my class, so that means 500% of my students watched the last episode, and that's amazing. So YouTube overloads, if you're watching this, this is material definitely something for YouTube Rewind. So call me and we can discuss what to include. They don't know my phone number. Hello? How do you know my phone number? Ah, okay. And about YouTube Rewind, oh, I see. What? It was discontinued in 2019? But why? This was the best part of YouTube. I see. So YouTube Rewind was the most disliked video of all time on YouTube. Okay, that's it. I'm going back to MySpace. Back to FTX, where more details emerged. A very good article is this one by Nansen. It's the following article here. They analyzed, summarized, provided sources, and made it really easy to read. And they also try to correlate statements. A good example is here, where they analyzed these numbers and they came to the conclusion that this is in line with the interview from Reuters with several people close to Bankman-Fried, revealing a 4 billion loan from FTX to Alameda, backed by FTT tokens, Robinhood shares, and other assets. So they are analyzing on-chain data with events and try to correlate them. They also provide for several cryptocurrencies a proof of reserve. It's the following site here. This is, for example, the proof of reserve of crypto.com. They have also other big exchanges like Binance and OKX, and this shows how large their reserves are. This is very helpful as there are other incidents where, for example, Matt Damon's Crypto.com accidentally sent 320,000 ethers to Gate.io. This is around 400 million US dollars. Luckily, it was sent back, and it's all described here in this Telegraph article. Other articles provide also insights. However, this information that I'm going to show you is unconfirmed, but various other authors suggested that this might actually have happened, and it's a link I previously showed to you. This is in the comments, and it's from a guy who started there and telling that Alameda Research was quite unorganized and sending cryptocurrencies to wrong addresses, for example. He mentioned that transferring $500,000 US dollars to a BTC address, something that doesn't work due to complete lack of safeguards on transfer, and that looks like it's not well organized. However, this is still unconfirmed. Other tweets go a bit further with speculation, like this one. This is a tweet where it shows that Sam Bankman-Fried here is having prescription drugs on the desk. Here we see it in large, and they analyzed what it was, and it's supposedly M-Sum. And this is known for its benefits of staying alert and the side effects described here. The side effects are, among others, compulsive behaviors and a loss of impulse control, which has manifested as pathological gambling. However, these previously mentioned statements and blogs and tweets, they are just rumors, and I could not find the source of these images. I tried to run an error level analysis of the image itself with the following tool here, and we see, since it's pretty dark overall, it's highly compressed, and this was compressed or recompressed by Twitter itself. So this analysis that was also, for example, used by Bellingcat for detecting fake Russian satellite images, but in this case, since it's recompressed, it's not working, and I could not check if this image is actually real or if it was modified. So without the original image, this remains speculation, although Sam Bankman-Fried publicly admitted to taking stimulants. So for now, this is pure speculation and should be treated as such. Also, the local media here in Switzerland is reporting about FTX with the following opinion here. The author asks if we need cryptocurrencies and suggests that if cryptocurrencies are regulated, we don't need cryptocurrencies at all. As a side note, FTX was regulated by LedgerX, who has a license by the US Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is shown or reported in this article. And as a side note, as a reminder, Wirecard was also regulated. I think the author in this article is missing the point that there is a difference between CeFi and DeFi, and he did not make this distinction. Which brings me to the following problem of cryptocurrencies and CeFi versus DeFi. Well, most users don't care about decentralization up to now. What can be observed is that many users are now withdrawing funds from custodial wallets and most likely to non-custodial wallets, so meaning they're going from CeFi to DeFi. And another local media, Tagesanzeiger, did this distinction of CeFi and DeFi and pointed another problem. The UI UX for crypto applications is for non-technical users quite bad. This could be tackled by making the core functionality of a wallet part of the browser, for example with the emerging standard WebAuthn, which could sign transactions. However, focusing on signing blockchain transactions seems not to be the top priority use case of these authors here from Google and Microsoft. I believe this is technically possible, and even in the third improvement that is still work in progress, I saw here a contributor, Nick Steele from the Gemini Exchange. There are other companies that are in trouble. For example, AAX Exchange, they stopped trading and froze the assets and withdrawal. Then there is BlockFi. I also mentioned BlockFi. They are preparing for bankruptcy. And also most people who invested in cryptocurrencies are losing money. So more bad news in the following article. So this is a report on a study that was done from the year 2015 to 2022, showing that most people buy at peaks and sell during bear markets, and they came to the conclusion that the majority of people who invested in Bitcoin, they lose money. So more bad news. And the last article I want to mention is that the collapse of FTX affects a lot of people, and it is estimated that more than 1 million people are affected by this collapse. Let's talk about another story. This story is about anonymity in Bitcoin, or the lack of it. Here, James Zhong stole 50,000 Bitcoins by tricking the withdrawal system of Silk Road. Silk Road was a drug marketplace where the drugs could be paid with Bitcoins, and it was started by Ross Ulbricht, who is currently sentenced to a life prison for running Silk Road, which is, by the way, a non-violent crime. Nonetheless, he is serving a life sentence. James Zhong faces up to 20 years in prison for wire fraud charges, and the interesting part is that James used different wallets to hide his identity. It's mentioning that laundered through various wallets. However, I doubt that he just sent it to different wallets, but I guess he used real mixers. However, there are companies specialized on de-anonymizing Bitcoins, potentially also mixers, and Bruce Schneier has an article on that. The company which specialized on that is called Chain Analysis. They can cluster all the addresses to wallets, and they have probably a way to de-anonymize some mixers. The last article is about bashing Web3. It's the following article here. The title is Web3 BS? And it's a transcript from a talk from Molly White, who is a software engineer and editor of several English Wikipedia articles. In this talk, she was researching what Web3 is, and it seems that she's going in the direction of Web3 movement. She looked into current use cases and did not find a compelling use case. And she mentioned all the scams and the failed project, saying that the depressing state of what's currently being called Web3. In contrast to that, Web3 for me is a library, is a tool, or it's a plugin that connects my browser to a blockchain. And the use case determines if Web3 is needed or not. However, when you talk about the movement, then it's about democratization, decentralization, and censorship resistance. Well, for me, Web3 is still something like MetaMask, that if you need to interact with Ethereum, you install it, or if you don't need it, you don't install it. That's it. But I agree, selling the Web3 movement can contain wishful thinking and sometimes BS. Also, she finishes with a very good statement. The statement is down here. Dig deep, ask the hard questions, criticize the flaws, and cut through the BS.